Okay, this is like going on day 4. Oh, I was just outside. Weed, everyone. And also, I love Jake, but he is a seahorse. He is a seahorse, and I hope he shows up at the Seahorse Sanctuary. But yes, I gotta paint my nail. But yes, and also the squad. I love Jake. Jake loves me. This is actually Jake loves me, but this is the squad. You know what I mean? All of us. But yes, the Seahorse Sanctuary is based on weed. We're on a seahorse rescue mission here to try to get particular seahorses back here because they are in like a place that they're not supposed to be. So there's a particular seahorse that came here like the other day, and this particular seahorse stole it wasn't my idea to get this expensive of a phone, but I think it was like over $1,000 for this phone. I just wanted a flip phone, but that's beside the point. And stole a bunch of stuff from my basement. That particular seahorse needs to go to rehab. Like, he's a crazy seahorse, okay? He did stay here. There's another particular seahorse who was the particular seahorse that was my particular seahorse that lived here for quite a while. That particular seahorse did go to rehab for 3 months, did an excellent job. The seahorse that I was talking about before would not be able to stay here without going to rehab first. I do not trust that seahorse to not bring like needles and drugs, like hard drugs and things of that nature. The second particular seahorse did an excellent job during the most opportune time to be clean. And I believe that that particular seahorse, without the presence of drugs, would do a fantastic job, would go right back into the groove of being in rehab as long as people here were not doing drugs, okay? Now, we have captured one particular seahorse. Patrick is a particular seahorse that has been clean and sober for 4 days. He did have weed. This weed, I do this thing, it's like a this weed. I did not like this weed. This weed took me back to a place where I am living in a place now, like in my mind space, that everything is perfect. Everything is perfect in my life. Like, I have hopes and aspirations, and they are real to me. This weed that Patrick enjoys, but like I did not enjoy, took me to a place where, yes, I hit the mat, but I did not hit the mat in the way that I wanted to hit the mat. This weed, like this particular weed that we just had, was perfect weed to listen to Everyday Life by Coldplay. And I'm like, well, that's a thing. But it's like, that album's kind of spooky. Like, in the cover art's like really spooky, right? But it's kind of spooky. I am the spooky mama. But I don't like that much. This album sounded fantastic, so I hit the mat listening to that album all the way through, and I'm like, oh, I actually like this album on this weed. Everything else was bad. It took me back to a place, like, remember when things were scary? Like, you always felt like you were doing something wrong, like, even if you were, like, doing a very good job? That's the way it was for me. And, like, things were just a little bit slightly off, but, like, not in a good way. Like, there are certain, like, tells or cues and stuff, like, in my life. Like, on my mat, I wrote a skit. And it says something about, like, okay, it goes, how does the skit go? I wrote it down on my mat because it was such a good skit, and it's like a really short skit. It's like a 30-second skit. And it goes, oh gosh. Let me go to the mat. Yes, I have my mats put away because I've been cleaning. There is one particular seahorse that is my seahorse that I have not spoken to yet. This is what, like, this weed, even though this weed that I did not like, it still didn't, like, what's this? It still did not, sway that was true, you know what I mean? Okay, here's the mat. I'll go out here. I'm cleaning my kitchen. For some weird reason, my kitchen will not get clean. And it wasn't even that bad. It's because I'm waiting for my particular Seahorse. And here, watch this. Okay. Well, what does it say? What does it say? Okay, well here's the mat. Oh, it goes, hello, Air Force? It's the president. Right. Drop weed seeds on people. Stat. Love you too. Bye-bye. So every time and here's okay, this is just one side of my head. Flap, flap. And then of course all that. But every time look at my leg warmers, aren't they sweet? Every time I would go like this and put my hands down, I'd always see this. This is what I would see. Okay? When I was on this weed, I would always see this or something. That was my tell. Every time I would do a salutation, I would see force, president. Because that is my mindset that I'm going to Washington. I've always wanted to do, actually that was my dad's suggestion. Good suggestion, right? Oh, the camera won't turn off. It does that sometimes. So there's a game that the Seahorses sometimes play. It's it's how long can I keep lolly before the other Seahorses show up, right? So I think that's kind of the game we're playing right now. But it's the hoarding lolly game kind of. So I'm gonna mention that we should go get the other particular Seahorse because out of everyone, Patrick, the particular Seahorse, and yes, my other Seahorse is of course Nick, that everybody knows, who did such a great job in rehab that we had our issues where I never got I don't expect anything from everyone because Wayne William Snellgrove, out of his book, trying to remember the name of the book. He's a really great author. He's somebody that I looked up to for a long time. It says something about love means wanting everyone for someone. How does it go? Love means you want everything for someone, and I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'll find the quote. I think I have it on my phone. Not wanting anything in return, okay? Well, a lot of stuff went down where it was really difficult. I got treated really badly. A lot of things got stolen. Unnecessary roughness, if you want to believe that. A lot of unnecessary roughness. When I first met Nick, he was my best friend. He didn't have crystal meth back then, though. We only had weed. For the first 3 weeks that I knew him, he was making hemp jewelry, and he was working on his freaking woodworking stuff, wood burning stuff and everything. And he was really shy, and he was my bestie for the first 3 weeks, and then he got a hold of his friends that had the crystal meth, and then he was never the same person ever again for years. I've known him for 5 years. He just never was the same person ever again until he went to rehab, and he messaged me and he said, Laura, I'm so sorry. And he says, thank you. Oh my God. It's just he's thank you. He's thank you. He's I love you. And I'm who is this person? I remember you. You know what I mean? And he's oh, I gotta tell you, I've been reading these books about mindfulness, because he's a very Buddhist type of person. He's I've been reading these books about mindfulness. And it's something that I'm really into. And it's it's kind of you know what I mean? And he's just it's just everything's going great. And it's that meant everything to me, you know what I mean? Because it's just it was torture, okay? But it's just you know how they say hurt people hurt people? I understood that was what it was. We've got to get him back, you know what I mean? I want the Seahorses safe. Another episode of Lolly Save the Seahorses, next on Beautiful, Bright, Lovely World. But Patrick's hoarding me right now. I'll show you some of the things that I got to eat. It won't turn the camera off. It still won't turn the camera off. I'm trying to turn it around so I can show you the things that I got us to eat, like healthy snacks.